Hello, 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 everybody. I am so stoked to be back online doing live streams. It's been a minute. I am back on Maui, which feels amazing. I have this beautiful backdrop over here for my live streams, and I have a new office set up, obviously. And today I wanted to talk to you about the ancestral money trauma. And I put it in quotations because the word trauma has been used so much in the online space, and when it comes to ancestral wounds or things that we pick up, trauma has been almost overused. So I put it in quotations because it's not necessarily trauma, but I'm going to go ahead and explain what I mean by that. I've created this live stream because yesterday I did an amazing energy work session on one of my clients in regards to exactly this. Basically what has happened is she has created a pattern, a loop with money and her intuitive senses of how to go ahead and get money in her business, which is highly creative, and she has many different facets and outlets. And it's almost like certain things were repeating themselves on Groundhog Day, and we could not find the cause of it, no matter how much inner work she did on herself. What we figured out, that it was actually ancestral, and it was carried on for generations, generation to generation. So this live stream is for you. If a manifestation of money and visualizing it has not worked for you, maybe it has worked sometimes but not other times. If you are very much into inner work and working on yourself and discovering your patterns and discovering your traumas, discovering your imprints and habits and thought patterns that you have picked up either from other people or your family for that matter, if you are doing that but are still not seeing consistency or are still seeing certain things repeat on Groundhog Day, if you feel like you can buy a $5 latte at Starbucks daily, but then when it comes to purchasing something like a course or investing in coaching or energy work or anything else, of more like private small business stuff or any kind of items like paintings or crystals, or you have a hard time with buying that for yourself, right? So what is causing that pattern? This is also for you if no matter how much you like I said, no matter how much you work on yourself, you're still not discovering the root of like, why the hell am I still not trusting my intuition? Why the hell do I still need to contact a coach, a mentor, an energy healer, and consult all these people, or your husband, or your wife, or, why is it that you are not trusting your own intuition and your own sovereignty and authority with your financial decisions? So this is for you if you are experiencing that. This is also for you if you fear going into debt. This is for you if you have made certain financial decisions, say like buying a college education, but are worried about, investing in a coach or something like that. This is for you if you feel like your bank account does not quite match your vision board, and you feel like your intuition has become not trustworthy. This is for you if you feel the need to question constantly your decisions, or even if you do get really powerful intuitive messages, or if you get really powerful guidance and you still don't follow it and you're fearful of following it, especially when it comes to your business and money decisions. So let me tell you as to what is actually going on here when it comes to money traumas, but more than anything, like I said, habits and imprints instead, is how I'd like to speak about it instead. So let's break apart as to why, like I said, yet again, why I'm doing this in the first place is yesterday I did an extremely powerful energetic release for one of my clients. And for her, like I said, there's certain decisions and financial decisions that she was repeating constantly, kind of like Groundhog Day. Like, why is it that I'm getting this intuitive hit? For her specifically, it's the stock market. She relies heavily on her intuition and has had some big success with it, and still is unable to trust her intuition when it comes to financial decisions, is still not able to trust her own inner authority of what is best for her when it comes to her financial decisions, right? To those of you popping on right now, please say hi. I have not been online in a while, and it's really good to see everybody. It's really good to hang out with all of you. If you have any questions about any of this, or if you have listened to the first part of this live stream about the symptoms that you may be experiencing, if you have this imprint, like I said, I put trauma in quotation marks, more like imprint in a pattern that keeps repeating itself with money in you, then this live stream may be for you. And I go over some symptoms that you may or may not be experiencing. So to those of you that are on here, please say hey. Like I said, I haven't been on in a while, and I'm talking about some really cool stuff. And if you have any questions at any point, please feel free to stop me. I'm happy to go ahead and clarify. So like I said, I will be using my client as an example as to what we have discovered. And basically, if we talk about trauma in an energetic sense, trauma causes an imprint on your physiological, your energetic, your mental, your emotional body. Your whole entire system gets really quickly programmed as to how to react to a certain stimuli. Trauma can be caused with a big event that just happens out of nowhere and it's shocking, and that's how most people know trauma. But trauma can also happen in a much more slower way, almost like Chinese water torture, if that makes sense, where certain things have been programmed over and over and over and over again. Think of, say, a person in a verbally abusive relationship, an emotionally abusive relationship, right? Some of the things that they might be experiencing afterwards, they've been traumatized by through a longer period of time. Doesn't mean that that imprint is still not there. So what trauma does, it creates, especially a shocking event, it lays down the pathway, a neural pathway in your brain. And the way neural pathways get formed is through association, right? So here's a stimuli, and it shocked your whole entire nervous system, your emotion, your body, into everything, into this fight or flight. Boom, it created a neural pathway in your brain that then stays there, and it's really hard to shake that loose unless you create a new one around it. When it comes to creating imprints of trauma over a long period of time, hey Barb, good to see you. Kellyanne, Samantha, hey Sammy, all of you who are watching, please say hi. Like I said, I haven't been online in a while, and I'm talking about ancestral money traumas and how I was able to help dispel that for one of my clients yesterday, and how these things get formed, right? So think of this kind of like emotional abuse scenario of what kind of imprint it creates on a person who has experienced it, right? It creates this kind of imprint to react in a certain way over and over and over again on your emotional, on your physical, on your energetic, and your neurological, physiological, your entire system, your digestive system, your musculoskeletal system gets trained to react in a certain way after the creation of this neural pathway. So what we discovered with my client yesterday, for her specifically, like I said, we have been working on strengthening her intuitive abilities, and we have been working on strengthening her intuition and her insight. Yet every single time she feels like she can't trust herself, even though she's had great success with the stock market and using her intuition in order to do that, she still is not able to trust it, and she's just like, I wonder why. Yesterday when we went into an energy work and channeling session, because whenever people do that, I do kind of both. We at first go ahead and channel the root of it, and then we dispel it energetically. What we figured out for her, it was this imprint that has been caused by her mother to create this habitual reaction to investments. She is from not America. She's a foreign woman, and I am myself as well, so I highly understood this, where most foreign women, for her it was her maternal bloodline. Sorry, I'm getting texted as I'm trying to explain this stuff to you. So for her, it was her maternal bloodline of women in her family that would constantly say, no, you need to save this, you need to save this, you need to save this money, even though she had an intuitive hit back when Facebook stocks were $3. They're $150 now. Had she invested $1,000 at that point in time, she would be sitting on more than 6 figures at this point, right? So then it creates this other imprint of like, God damn it, I will never trust my intuition. And it creates the other neuropathway of constantly reinforcing this. And it creates a loop, like Groundhog Day, of like, oh my God, I can't invest. And the minute that your intuition comes through with an amazing idea, because we've been welcoming that, we've been opening her up with this amazing idea to go invest in the stock market, to go talk to this person, to go start this business, whatever it might be, whatever your call is, whatever your intuition tells you to do, right? Whenever you experience that, for her, it creates a traumatic reaction because she has a very thick neural pathway that has been imprinted for so long by her family for who knows how many generations, that she's like, no, I'm not supposed to do that. So it creates this kind of short circuit that we're like, yes, come here, intuition. And the more that she experiences trust in that, or not, I'm sorry, the more that she experiences the influx of her intuitive abilities, the more her body is fighting it, because that neural pathway is like a highway, okay? And these neural pathways, whenever they get formed, like I said, this is why I put trauma in quotation marks, because trauma can be caused by a positive event. Like when you experience something so euphoric and positive, it creates, you know, an imprint on your system about how you're supposed to react to that stimuli. So say, for instance, relationships. Over a course of time, we literally get imprinted. Is this necessarily trauma? No. But we literally get imprinted on our like our entire system, our physical, our emotional, physiological, neurological systems get imprinted to react a certain way to this person that we're dating, which is why breakups are so fucking hard and so incredibly hard, because the neural pathway for that has been formed by association to a stimuli is like a 6-lane highway in the brain, right? And the only way to dislodge this, I don't claim that we can completely dislodge trauma through energy work alone. The reason being is because there's emotional, there's psychological, there's habitual, there's mental, rational, there's so many other systems that need to get retrained. Because just because we remove an energetic loop doesn't mean that your physical body is going to catch up to it. So you could remove the physical loop, but you also need aftercare in order to make sure that that continues, right? Because the neural pathway that has been laid down has been so incredibly thick. Does it cause a huge difference? Yeah. Does it release the person of the responsibility of thinking like, wow, I can't trust myself, what the hell's wrong with me, why am I not making the money that I'm making, I'm doing the inner work and I'm constantly going into this pattern, and it creates even more self-traumatization the more you sit there and try to figure this out. Is this making sense to you guys? Like, I'm just kind of going off on a tangent here of the experience that I had yesterday with one of my clients, and it was really profound. Specifically for her, like I said, I was sitting here and it was like, it's as if her mother just like showed up like right here. And I mentioned, was like, you know, whenever you feel this like intuitive hit come in and your body and your brain immediately refuses it, what happens physically? Can you make that palpable for yourself? Can you feel that? Okay, so you feel a knot in your solar plexus. Can you feel what temperature it is, what color it is? Does it have Velcro on it? Is it like silly putty? Is it like a rock? Can you feel that? Are you able to feel that fully to the point where it's palatable for you so that you know what it is? And next time when you feel that, you are more empowered to dislodge it through a variety of techniques. And then this was weird. As soon as I like said that, I was like, it's almost as if like, if you were to close your eyes and if you were to grab somebody's hand, you will know if it's like a man's or if it's your mother's hand. You will just know. And the minute I said that, it was like, boom, I just saw the entire line of a ball and chain of so many habits, of so many words, of so many assumptions that have been beaten down into her psyche for years and years and years about what it means to save money and about people's money's fears especially around investing and multiplying money by spending it in the interim, right? Because people don't think like that. Also, for her, it has become physiological because it's been passed down from generation to generation, right? So now, not only is it in her energetic field, it's also in her DNA. Okay, so where was I going with this? I was really stoked about the discovery, and then all of this other stuff just kind of came through when people speak about money traumas. These things have become so much more clear to me as far as why certain people achieve success so much quicker versus others. I will give you another example to demonstrate this, to hopefully make it a little clearer for you guys. So this man that I was dating, he has a business, and for him it is really easy to part with money. Like, money in, money out. Oh, I have to buy another tool. Cool, go ahead, swipe the credit card, amazing, whatever. He has also experienced some material theft and tool theft, and he had to replace a lot of items for his business, and for him to go ahead and just swipe the credit card and be like, oh my god, yeah, let's whatever. For me, on the other hand, if something gets stolen, or if I lose something, or if I lose money, it's a lot more traumatic. And the reason being is because I come from a family who is also, just like my clients, needs to constantly save money and grab a hold of money rather than just letting it go easier and easier and easier, because, oh my god, what if it leaves? So having said all of this, you guys, one of the things that I strongly recommend is, yes, find the root of this, right? And a lot of times, if, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you have the symptoms of repeating certain money habits or success habits on Groundhog Day, then whatever you're experiencing and whatever kind of imprint that you have picked up is probably at this point not your own, especially if you have experienced certain really weird habits, like the ability to spend money on some things but not the others. Like the ability to purchase a $50,000 college education. I don't know if you can even do that nowadays, but can't purchase a $300 class, or the ability to buy a Starbucks latte every single day, but not able to buy yourself gifts like paintings or crystals or whatever else. You know, like, that's a weird habitual pattern as to why certain things get triggered in your brain that way. Odds are the pattern that you have around it is probably not your own, and it's probably ancestral or familial, and it created a habit for your body, for your system, for your emotional system, everything, right? So this is what I recommend. Obviously, is talk to me, message me if you're experiencing this, because part of my work is not just energetic, but also maintenance afterwards of what kind of actions, habits, and mindset habits and implementations you need to put in place to make sure, like I said, that neuropathway that you trod a new one. Okay, because you can't really get rid of neuropathways. Eventually they get weaker and weaker and weaker. It's almost like the way that I can describe the neuropathways that are created by trauma. If you can imagine when you're first creating a new habit, what you're doing is essentially creating a neuropathway. You're creating an imprint on your body, on your brain, on your mind, on your physiology, on your everything to react and act in a certain way. What trauma does is creates one within seconds because of a shocking event. And then it just kind of freezes your entire physiological, energetic, emotional system in that time and space to react to this for the rest of time to keep you safe, right? Because you almost died or whatever. When you're creating a new habit, the way that I'd like for you to envision this kind of creation of a new neuropathway, it's as if you're going bushwhacking and creating a new trail. What trauma does is it creates a highway within a second. In order to dispel that, in order to undo that trauma, what needs to happen is you need to start creating a new neuropathway, and this one needs a lot less attention. It's almost as if humans were to leave the planet tomorrow. The highway is going to get overgrown with trees, with weeds, with dirt, with animals, whatever. It's no longer going to be a highway. And eventually it's going to deteriorate, and its strength is going to lose. So the only way to undo trauma or undo these kinds of imprints is creating new neural pathways. the reason why immersive experiences work with creating new neuropathways, kind of like learning a language, the reason why immersive experiences work so much better for that stance is because just because you remove one aspect of that neuropathway doesn't mean that other parts of your physiological, emotional, mental, whatever, doesn't still want to go on that highway. Because essentially this imprint has created an addictive loop. Okay, so if you have been struggling with personal development, with whatever, of trying to break a certain pattern, the odds are is you're probably not attacking it from all angles, meaning from your actions, from your thoughts, from your energies, from taking responsibilities for what is yours and what is not, from removing things energetically, and for having good aftercare. Okay, so that's what I have to say about money traumas and imprints. And if you guys have had issues, like I said, with manifestation courses, with coaching programs, with whatever, the reason being is because your neural pathway is so fucking stubborn. And in order to dislodge that, it has not been attacked from all angles for you to create a new one and to dislodge the old one from keeping your body, your habits, your mental, your weight frozen within that Groundhog Day type of patterning. I hope this is making sense for you, you guys. And if you are experiencing any of these symptoms, like I said that I mentioned, if you feel like your money stories and your habits and your thoughts about it are on this crazy hamster wheel and loop, then perhaps it's time that we take a look as to what the hell is causing that loop in the first place. Quite frankly, it might not be yours. And the first and the best way to go about quitting an addiction is removing the stimuli. So if you have any kind of energetic attachment to where that addiction has come from in the first place, such as family and ancestors and certain beliefs, then the first place that we need to look is to cut that. And that's what we did yesterday with one of my clients. And in order for this to take in and be successful, I highly recommend a more immersive experience with a mentor who understands and can see if these attachments come in again, and that's something that I can do. I'm going to go ahead and post the link for the consultations for my energy work sessions to see if this is something that you guys have within your fields. Hold on just a second. Where are we? So I'm going to go ahead and post that for you guys here. If you're not sure, feel free to book that, and I'm happy to take a look at that for you. And if you know that this is something that you are experiencing and you want to go ahead and book a session, I'm going to go ahead and post my link for that as well for the energy work sessions. All right. And if you guys have any questions, if you're like, you know what, I'm not quite sure, can you take a look? Go ahead and message me. I do not bite. My energy work sessions are really all over the place. And what I mean by that is just not a single one has been repeated, and they all go differently. And I do everything from like relationship stuff, cord cutting, obviously, to bringing somebody back from the dead. That one was an interesting one. It was more along the lines of this individual had left an aspect of herself at a time where there was an exit point option. And we brought the power and the energetic essence back in order for, because that was left and kind of frozen at that point in time. So that's not something I could have known right before the energetic session. So if you guys are unsure as to what's going on with you, if you have tried a lot of different things and are still confused, if you feel like you may potentially have this kind of money trauma or an imprint that may not be your own, especially if certain things have repeated them, over and over and over again, then let's go ahead and talk. Like I said, I posted my consultation link, and I also posted my energy work scheduling link. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to speaking to all of you, and I hope you're having a beautiful, Thursday, and I will be on here a whole lot more. The other thing that I wanted to say is I am going to go ahead and start a group, a new community for individuals that want to learn how to develop their psychic abilities, how to develop their own energy work sessions. So it's going to be slightly different. I'm going to have two communities, one for people who are wanting to start service-based businesses, who want to learn sales and marketing in a highly empathic and social way. And there's going to be some channeling and some intuitive readings there. But I'm creating a whole new community for individuals who are interested solely in energetic work, solely in developing their psychic abilities and developing their own energetic modalities in a highly creative way. So that's coming soon. That's in the works right now. If you're interested in that, go ahead and comment below and I'll include you in that. In the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful Thursday and I'll speak with you soon. Cheers. Aloha.